In our second video, I'm going to talk with you about standards and proficiency scales and how we use them. So first of all, our standards are created by the Kentucky Department of Education and approved by the Kentucky Board of Education. So if you go to the Kentucky Department of Education's website, they have an entire page set aside for Kentucky academic standards, and there's all sorts of information on there. So that's where you would find our state standards. Then we take the state standards, and as a district, we get together in groups of like-minded teachers and administrators, and we say, of all the standards, which ones are the most important that we focus on for each unit? So we may have other standards that we consider to be support to those priority standards, but there's so many standards that it's been said that if we actually taught every single standard to mastery, we would not have K-12 education, we would have K-22 education. It would take that long to teach every standard to mastery. So for that reason, teachers need to select just the priority standards and then use the supporting standards to support the learning of the priority standards. Does it sound like I just talked like a bunch of gobbledygook? I'm so sorry. But our priority standards are on the Boone County Schools website. You can find them. They are available for you. So if you have a student that's in the 6th grade, you go to the Boone County Schools website, you click District Curriculum, Middle School, and let's say I want to look at their science standards for 6th grade. Science, 6th grade. I'm going to have a large document that's going to pull up, and it's going to show me for all the units for 6th grade science, what are their priority standards and what are their supporting standards. So their unit 1 is forces and interaction. It's a 7-week unit. It's going to take 36 days to teach it. These are their 2 priority standards, and this is their 1 supporting standard. At the end of this unit, these are the 2 priority standards they're going to be assessing to determine mastery. I thought maybe it would be easier to explain standards and proficiency scales using something that's familiar to all of us. And well, I'm hungry right now, so this is what I picked, baking chocolate chip cookies. So let's say that our standard for this class is being able to bake chocolate chip cookies to a mastery level. So first I need to say, I said, that's the standard, baking cookies, chocolate chip cookies to a mastery level. My first step that I need to take is 1 level down from mastery. And I need to figure out, okay, in order to do that, I'm going to need some skills first. So what are the skills that I'm going to need in order to bake cookies at a mastery level? Also, what's some vocabulary that if I don't know that vocabulary, I'm really going to struggle in these concepts? So I'm not a great baker. I should tell you that right now. But I very quickly tried to break down some skills that I thought you're probably going to need to be able to do this if you want to bake cookies. I'm going to need to know how to measure dry ingredients with tablespoons, and probably teaspoons, I should have added that too, and cups. I'm going to need to be able to measure wet ingredients, tablespoons, teaspoons, and cups. There's some vocabulary I might need to know. I might need to know what sift means. I might need to know what level means, like if I'm going to try to level the flour in the cup. I might need to know what fold means. If I'm going to fold things together, or blend. Maybe I need to know what blend means. So there's some key vocabulary I need to know. Once I know how to measure all the ingredients, I'm going to know how do I combine the wet and dry ingredients. You know, there is definitely, people feel very strongly about their method to their madness in combining their wet and dry ingredients with their cookies. I'm also going to need to understand that I'm going to need to space these out because when they cook, they're going to expand. Probably going to need to know why that happens too. But I'm going to need to make sure that I know that information in advance. I'm also going to need to know how to use the oven, and I'm going to need to know some safety procedures and maybe some first aid because I could get burnt. So if I do burn myself, what do I need to do? So these are all the prerequisite skills and the key vocabulary that I need to understand before I ever even consider moving to a level 3. So at level 1, let's go back down to the very bottom. At level 1, kids are doing all this with help from the teacher or with help from other students. Once they master all these skills in this vocabulary, once they've been able to check the boxes on all of those on their proficiency scale, they are officially at level 2 and they are ready to move on to mastery of level 3. So they're in this process of, they're somewhere between a 2 and a 3. They've they have mastered all the prerequisite skills, but they're not quite at mastery of making the chocolate chip cookies yet. And so what's really important when we think about mastery is it tends to get really frustrating for parents because we don't have quick wins. We don't have threes in the beginning of the year. It's nearly impossible to have threes in the beginning of the year because we're teaching the grade level standards. And as your kids move through those proficiency scales, they're really going to spend time in the 1-2 level as they're mastering the prerequisite skills that it takes in order to master a standard. And every time we introduce a new standard, that's going to happen again. So do not expect overnight results. It's not possible. That's the old way. The new way is practice, 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 practice over time until you can do it really, really well and consistently over time. I thought this was a good comparison because maybe one time I make my cookies and I put too much flour, and the next time I forgot the brown sugar. I just did all granulated sugar, and the next time I forgot the granulated sugar and I put all brown. And so they're all coming, all these cookies are coming out different ways, and I haven't really mastered making it yet because I'm trying different ways of doing and I'm practicing. And all the failure that we experience is critical for your students to finally get to mastery. And then when we get to level three, we're working towards that level three. And what we're doing is we're trying over and over and over. So we're baking batches and batches and batches of cookies until we can get it right. And then just because we got it right one time doesn't really mean it's mastered. It means every time we do it right. Like we are nailing it every single time. I hit the target every single time and I can maintain success. That's what a level three is. And we haven't delved very deep into level four, but this is our year. This is our year for level four, and that's beyond mastery. So that's where my friend Buzz comes in, infinity and beyond. It means that now I know my prerequisite skills, I know my key vocabulary, I can bake the cookies. Boy, can I bake those cookies. And I can do it well, I can do it over and over and over, and I can do it over time, and I'm consistent, and I'm not failing at it anymore. But now to get to, so that's three. Now, if I want to get to level four, I got to take that information and it's got to impact something else. So it's not just my information anymore. Now I'm either teaching someone else how to make cookies, or I'm creating cookies and I'm entering them in a baking contest and they're winning something, or I'm writing an article in the school newspaper about how to bake cookies to teach other people how to bake cookies. Or so I'm taking all of my mastery information and I'm taking it next level, and that's a level four, and that's what we'll be working on this year.